off the week, I'm gonna do 2 whole chickens in these crock pots. Now I've got 2 crock pots going. It's later in the evening. Yay. So I'm not sure how long these are gonna take. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I have never really timed this. So I will let you know when I get them done how long it took in the crock pot. I've got them on low right now. I just put them in, but I'm probably going to put them on high. I'll let you know exactly how I cooked them and how long. This is a whole chicken. They come in a bag of 2 from Sam's Club. I've just got some onion, and then I put some pepper, parsley, and then this master salt from the Kinder's. We love the Kinder seasoning. It's really, really yummy. And I'm going to use this to make bone broth. After I get all the chicken off the bones, I'm going to use the bones, and I'm going to cook it for 2 days. It's a process. You're going to get to see how I do all of it. So that's exciting, but we're going to use this chicken meat for a lot of different things, for lunches, for dinner. You'll see this week how I utilize it. I can even freeze it and use it next week, but 2 whole chickens is not really going to take my family of, 10 very far in eating several meals. But I love it. I love to make the broth. I love to make soups and stuff with the broth. It's very good for the kids, good for me, good for everybody. So I'll be back to let you guys know how this goes and show you the whole process of bone broth and everything exciting after that. So these have been on high for 4 hours, and this one you can kind of see where the leg is coming apart from the breast, and that's a pretty good sign that it is done. But I go ahead, I always just temp it. The breast, the thickest part, is just where I usually do, and I make sure it comes up to 165. So we're gonna go ahead and stick that in there. Now this one I tried to temp. It's a little bit bigger and it's in a different crock pot. I'm going to let this one go for probably another hour because it is not coming up to temp. But as you can see, this one is done for sure. It is good. So I'm going to put it on warm and let it cool down, and then that way I can get the meat off of it. And then I'll go ahead and I take this liner out when I do my broth. So I'll show you that when I take the chicken out and get all the meat off of it. I've got my chicken out of my pot, and I've already left some of the bones, the onion that I had in there to cook, and whatever juices came out, I left that in the pot. No, I didn't leave my liner in there, but I don't know if you should or shouldn't. I just don't. See, all this fat, skin, bones, all of this is going to go back in there, and you're just going to get all your meat. And I just put it to the side, and then that's what I just use for dinners. And then I make broth with this bone, this carcass. So I'm going to finish getting all this meat off of the bone. I cooked this whole chicken in this crock pot on high for 4 hours, and it temped. Now you're gonna want to pay attention to the size of your bird and make sure that you temp it, because I put these in at the same time and this one is still not done. So just be careful. You're gonna know that it's not done. You're not gonna be able to pull it off the bone like this. And I mean, it's pretty foolproof, but I know that some people watch these so that, they can learn, and it's just easy to pull apart when it's fully cooked. Just remember that. So when I get all the bones and stuff back in there, I'll show you what all I add and how much water I add, and then we'll continue from there. It's already looking pretty good. So I've just put some peppercorns in there, celery. I already had some onion in there, and I put some carrots in there. I've got some cilantro I'm gonna add to this batch because we like cilantro, so I think that's gonna be real good. And I'm probably just gonna put half in the other one too. Now, most everybody I know adds apple cider vinegar. I know that it's back and forth debate on the internet, if you need it or not. So I always just add a splash. You know, they say it pulls nutrients out of the bones. It helps, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to fill it all the way up with water. I'm going to keep it on high for at least 24 hours. I may go 48. Now, I want good bone broth. My last batch wasn't the best. The batch before that, it was complete gel, which is what you want. That thick, almost solid bone broth. Now, of course, once you heat it, it's gonna not be solid, obviously, but once it cools, your bone broth should be gel. And that is just a sign of a really rich, wonderful, nutrient-full bone broth. So I'm going to fill this up with water and turn it back on high. Put the lid on this one for tonight and be done with it. This chicken, it's starting to look like it's pulling apart a little bit more. Let's go ahead. Sorry for the noise, guys. I know it's late. All my kids are in bed. So I'm just trying to get this stuff done. I'm waiting on the husband to get home. I started these chickens really late, so just know that they're gonna take 4 to 5 hours. Okay, that's just now coming up to temp, and it's just gonna stop right exactly on 170. So I mean, this is done. Let's see all that clear liquid coming out. There's no pink coming out. It's starting to separate down here from the breast. That's a good sign. All this liquid is clear. There's no pink in there, and that's what you're looking for. And this is done, guys. And you have a whole chicken, you know, a whole rotisserie chicken. And I honestly can't remember how much these cost. I will look. I'll try to put it up here on the screen how much 2 chickens from Sam's Club cost. Now you can buy one already made for $5 or $6. I've been hearing a lot of horror stories lately about people getting Sam's Club chickens, but we're not going to go into that. We're just not going to go into that. But, you know, this, I know exactly what I put on this. I've cleaned it in my, you know, pretty clean kitchen. Don't look at my dishes. But, you know, I know everything that's in this. And then I'm going to be able to make this bone broth. And I've got all this good meat that I can do all these different recipes with. It's cheap. It's better for you. And it's easy. It's really, really easy. So I've had 2 crock pots going most of the night. They're going to be easy cleanup. And I'm going to have a lot of good meat and bone broth to feed my family. So I'm excited about this. Now I will try to show you the rest of the process as far as straining and freezing or just having the bone broth for a soup later this week. If you put it in the refrigerator, it does have to be used within, you know, 3 or 4 days. But you can freeze bone broth and you can bone broth, but you will have to pressure cook bone broth. It is from meat, and you will want to pressure cook that, not just water bath it. And I am not really comfortable doing that, and I've never pressure cooked, but we're going to this year. I have a pressure canner that I use mostly just to water bath. Don't you guys love this view? You are not going to see my face because I look horrible tonight, but outside of that, it's way off. But yeah, we're going to can this year. We're going to make spaghetti sauce this year. We're probably going to make more jams this year. I'm going to be pressure cooking a lot of things. Green beans. We've got a big garden going, so I'm excited. But I will show you this bone broth in a couple days when it gets done. You can cook bone broth up to 48 hours. So we'll check back in with it when it gets done. I'm going to put water in this and get this chicken deboned, or yeah, whatever. Gonna get the meat off of this chicken, okay? You all, I am the worst at this. I'm the worst at this. So day 1, I'm making gumbo. and I've already started it, and I forgot to film it because I was just chit-chatting with my aunt. So I'm just going to tell you where I'm at so far. I stopped until I got off the phone with her, and I just put 2 onions and 2 bell peppers, and I sauteed it with some garlic, 2 cloves of garlic, with some avocado oil, and just cooked that. I added some of this sausage. Let me see if I can get the wrapper. This New Orleans andouille sausage. I love this. Just cut it up. I used some of my chicken from my whole chickens last night. And that's as far as I've got so far. So I'll just put this together. I did add some obey, and I added some Tony's. So I'm gonna take you over to the slow cookers where my broth is, and I'm gonna show you how I get my bone broth. So I basically just put this strainer on top of here, and I just got out the bone broth that I'm gonna need. I might need a little bit more, but this is probably about 6 cups, I'd say, this bowl. So I'm gonna start with that and see how that does for us. It's hot. But all that I'm gonna add from here is a couple cans of diced tomatoes and some okra, and then this shrimp. And then I'm gonna let it come to a boil and cook the shrimp because the shrimp is not cooked, and it'll be ready to eat, and it is so good. I'll show you when it's finished. So here's what it looks like. I've added just this one bowl. It's probably about 6 cups of my broth. I added the whole bag of shrimp and 2 cans of the tomatoes. And I'm gonna bring this up to a boil, cover it. When the shrimp are cooked, this is ready to eat. Now, these okra are frozen as well, but they cook up pretty fast, so this is gonna be so good. Now, I also am making something different today because my kids are likely not gonna touch this. Maybe a couple of them, but I have 6 kids under 7, so gumbo is not gonna be a thing for them. It's something I didn't even start making until over the last year. When I did keto, I made this keto gumbo, and that's what this is. It doesn't have a roux. It's just basically, it's probably not even technically gumbo, but it is to me, so there's that. But I'll show you when it's done, and we might make up some cauliflower rice to put into it. Your girl's trying to eat better and go to the gym and do good, but we'll see. But I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so I threw together some ranch seasoning. To make this, I just put 2 tablespoons of parsley flakes, a tablespoon of the dill, a tablespoon of onion powder and garlic powder, and then a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. And I usually double it, and I use about 2 tablespoons of this at a time in equal parts mayonnaise, sour cream, and buttermilk, and make homemade ranch dressing. So that's what I'm gonna throw together now, and we'll have that for salads or for any kind of dipping the kids want to do with vegetables or anything like that. I have some fresh cauliflower that I was gonna have out for them, and my gumbo's looking real good, so excited about that. Okay, so I figured I would talk to you guys and you guys could kind of see me while we put together a banana pudding. So in this, I've already put the 4 cups of milk and the pudding mixes. You can use vanilla, anything you really want. I use 2 pudding mixes and 4 cups of milk. I have a ton of bananas, and I've been making a lot of muffins lately for my kids. So I thought, my phone's dying, what I would do this time is make a banana pudding, and it just be a treat for them, and get these bananas all used up. And I know you can't see anything I'm doing. My daughter and her friend broke my tripod that I just bought, and I can't cook and hold the phone at the same time. I can't cut bananas and hold the phone at the same time. So I just kind of wanted to let you know what I was going to be doing with these bananas. And I mean, I'm just cutting them up. And everybody loves my banana pudding, and it is so basic. There's nothing to it. Nothing special at all. I know some people put sweetened condensed milk in their banana pudding and use different things, and some people do layers. I don't have time for all that. So what I do is I put all of my bananas into, well, that didn't make it in the trash. I put all my bananas into my pudding. And then what I do is I just put half of my crunched up vanilla wafers into my pudding. They, believe it or not, they hold their crunch pretty well. And I was kind of shocked when I first started doing it like this. I don't really know. It had to have been like, couldn't have been Paula Deen, because I think hers is pretty, her banana pudding is pretty extensive. But I think it was Trisha, somebody taught me how to do banana pudding like this on Food Network, okay? And I've always made it like this. My family loves it. Now, my mom never made it like this growing up. She would do the layers, and she never put whipped topping on it or anything like that. So I'm just pouring in half of my crunched up vanilla wafers, and it's gonna be a big old bowl. It's gonna be so good. So I'll just lightly mix it in with that pudding and get it covered. And then I usually do buy sugar-free pudding mix, but I ran into the Dollar General on the way home because I forgot to grab it at Publix. And of course they don't have nothing like that. So what I do is I kind of flatten it around. Not the prettiest. Stir it, flatten it out, and then I take my topping and I just spoon it and cover the top. So it's got a big, thick layer of whipped topping. Yum. And I'll show you as soon as I'm gonna figure out this tripod thing so that. Another problem is my island is my stove. So I have like this much countertop on the outside of my island, and it's not enough room to be able to really see what I'm doing. And you know, so, oh, look at there. I could have put you down this whole time. So I've just, you know, look, and it's just, you can make it as pretty as you want. It's gonna be delicious either way. So then I just take all this extra and I put it on top. Now my husband, he loves the crunchy wafers on the top. Ooh, I stuck my whole hand in there. But it's really, really good. Put that in the refrigerator and it's ready to eat. And the kids are gonna be so excited tonight. So that is that. Simple, threw that together in no time. Made ranch dressing, made gumbo today. I've got my bone broth is still going. I'm probably gonna let that go for another whole day. So tomorrow I'll probably put that in the freezer or, you know, find another use for it. But I wanted to go ahead and make my gumbo today because it's a little chilly here today. And then I might use the rest of it for something else tomorrow, or I'll freeze it, which will not be a bad idea. But it needs to go for a little bit longer. It was beautiful, rich color. If I can add a picture, I'll add a picture of what it looked like. It's gorgeous already, very deep, rich color and flavor. So it's gonna make that gumbo so good. But that's my banana pudding recipe. That's how I do that. So tonight we're gonna have gumbo, those of us that want to have that. And then I'm gonna make a a chicken bacon ranch casserole. And I'm going to use some of my homemade ranch seasoning to put into that, which is one of the reasons why I made that. And the kids will love that because it's got chicken and it's got ranch in it, and yum, who wouldn't love that? So we may have leftovers for tomorrow, but if not, and if I cook anything else, I will show it to you guys. So that's day one. So this was my chicken cheesy bacon casserole that I made. And that's basically all I put in it except a block of cream cheese. I mixed it all together, baked it at 350 for about 40 minutes, and the kids absolutely loved this. And this is what I had left of the banana pudding at the time. Taco meat with our taco seasoning from Sam's Club. I put out all of the toppings and everything we like to use. I laid out a veggie tray with my homemade ranch and some fruit. And we just made tacos or whatever we wanted. The kids got to decide. I made a couple of tacos with these low-carb tortillas that I like to use. And that was dinner that night. And it was yummy. The next night we had BLTs. This is 4 pounds of bacon for our family of 10, believe it or not. And I put out our lettuce and tomato for that. And we just made toast and sandwiches. And then this is the apple fritter mix that we got from Apple Barn. We love these. My kids devoured these. And we dip them in the sugar-free apple butter, and it is delicious. The kids love it. Every time we go to Gatlinburg, we have to eat at the Apple Barn. I guess it's actually technically Pigeon Forge. But you guys, I appreciate you continuing to watch and interacting with me down in the comments. And if you have any questions, just let me know, and hopefully I'll get more of the footage this week, and I'll see you next time.